Right. Let's get this show on the road. Cheers. I don't know how much of a show it is, but okay, rig. As my beer overflows. I thought it had sat there long enough. It's always a logical fallacy to think that whether or not a beer is going to overflow is in any way related to how recently you took the cap off of it. Okay, that was a slower drink, a safer drink. Okay, I'm really hating this echo, so I'm going to close the door and hope that fixes it because this is weird. Okay, so Airstream today because I'm still binning. I've got 4 i5 680s. So this let's actually go to the comp stage. I don't know why I have this at 160 zoom. Am I really that blind already? Not even 40 yet. Okay, let's refamiliarize ourselves with English. It's a very tough language to speak. The rules, so it's Intel CPUs only, LJ 1156 only, CPUs at 2.08 or later, which I happen to have on this XP, which is always nice. Need a picture of the OC setup. And I think it's all out, or is it dual cores only? Yeah, okay, so it's all out. So just to set the stage a little bit, not everyone's familiar with a 15-year-old platform or whatever it is. So I highly encourage people to use the advanced submission search thing on our bot form, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, why is my chat missing? Ah, there we go. Let's make sure the bot is alive. That sometimes is a problem. Okay, so you select your benchmark, and then what I like to do is I like to filter both by rank. So I just want first places and by socket. And I do this like just casually anyway, but in this case, it's actually relevant to the comp stage. No, not 1356. We want 1556. Oh no, 1156. There we go. Okay. So since it's all out, it's Clarkdale. Clarkdale clocks better than Linfield. It's a 32 nanometer. So this kind of ran along, just to give people a rough idea. I mean, I wasn't benching at the time, but my understanding is this ran alongside, maybe not an exact overlap, but certainly some level of overlap. It ran alongside the X58 chipset, which also had 45 and 32 nanometer chips. So here you have 45 and 32 nanometer chips. Clarkdale being the main code name for 32 nanometer, and Linfield for 45. And on X58, aka LGA 1366, Gulftown is the most well-known chip for 32 nanometer, and Bloomfield for 45. And everyone knows Bloomfield doesn't clock as like Gulftown might do like whatever, like 7G almost, and Bloomfield is like they're all locked, so it's very much depends on the SKU. But here you get an idea, you know, Clarkdale all the way down, and then the first Linfield result is 1.5 gigahertz behind. So you're talking all Clarkdales, and you want to go high multi. So like a 550 would be preferred over 540 because it has a higher multi. Where is it? 650s are popular, and that's actually tags comp result. Let's pull that up as a reference. So yeah, I'm not going to be, I have PSC in the system actually, which is probably quite limiting. I might throw my hypers in later and try them. So you want to push Encore. This is this is a golden IMC chip. So 1,000 real or 2,000 effective is probably as high as you're going to go here. Then you're pushing the bus because the Lois strap. Let's open CPZ here and get it from the horse's mouth, as they say. Force to 20. So actually he's on an even lower strap, but this is the best strap you can get is 5 times B clock. So I'd have to go all the way to 200 B clock just to get 1,000 real, 2,000 effective. So yeah, your mem strap limited, your core multis are locked. Your uncore, I don't know, maybe it's just this board, but I wasn't even able to find reduction of uncore multi. So you're basically pushing B clock regardless of whether you really need it for core clock or memory, because you want it for uncore as well. And then you have this interesting concept of QPI, which I saw some when I set it super low, it actually kind of hurt the score. But it's more of a what do you call it? It's more of like a PCI Express type link, but you can certainly have a post or a boot failure because you've set QPI to high, so you have to keep it in your mind. So what I've done so far was I ran one chip through this, and it just flat out, no matter what other multis I set, it flat out refused to set more than like 172 B clock, which was really weird. And I thought, I tried a few things, but then I just decided to just put a different chip in, because I think I've used this board before, and unless it's degraded in storage, it should do reasonably well. So the board, as per the rig bot, is the H55M UD2H PCB revision 1.0, which is what Tag tells me is a better revision for getting all out clocks on LN2 in his experience than the 1.3, which I also have a copy of. So no buttons, no postcode display, and M80X. So actually it got a little bit complicated to put the Nocta air cooler on, because I have to remember to pre-feed the Y, because there's two 140mm fans, one on either side, right? But the fan header is so far underneath here, in between the I/O and the socket, that I actually had to remember to pre-feed the Y adapter out the side here, so I can then connect the fans after I've mounted the air cooler. Just a pretty bog standard. Just I was able to find, like, just imaged on one of my SSDs, I was able to find a Parika OS, which is for 32M. Very good on AMD. I don't. It's kind of the era of like Sunny Bridge. I guess it would do kind of well for Sunny Bridge for 32M, but I'm under no illusions that this is the best OS for PyFast on this platform. It's just that I found it and I happened to have the exact version of EasyTune installed, because I was using this on the 790X UD4P actually before this, and that's the same era of board, just on the AMD side. So it has all of the, I've never seen so many minor voltages exposed in OS and in EasyTune. It's crazy. So I've got B clock control, but I also have set FSB and get as a fallback option. I believe multi-control, it looks like it's there, but it kind of asks you to reboot, so you may as well do it in BIOS. Yeah, so this board, maybe just to give some sort of idea, I have so there was the P, like the performance chipset, the P chipset, so P55, basically following on from P45, but obviously a different socket. I have the UD, whatever it is, UD5, UD7, I think it's the UD7. And I was kind of keen to use it here, but again, Tag said that this is the better clocking board. So I'm struggling a bit without buttons and postcode, but no postcode isn't as big of an issue as it is in the, hey, tech tested, I'd say best of luck, but I have a good chip already. The second chip I tried was really good. I'm getting onto that. It's just a question of, will I manage to mod my board for the Clarkdale mod for cold without killing it? Will I then be able to run the chip in the board without any issues? So there's a lot that can still go wrong. But yeah, like I was saying, in the PCI world, you can always just stick in a postcode display like I've done here. Whereas in the PCI Express world, you're kind of hosed because there is a standard for passing on postcodes via, like, what's the header called again? There's some sort of diagnostic header that some boards have, but it's not consistent. It doesn't consistently work. So yeah, not only did I have that Y cable issue, getting the RAM onto there is medium difficulty. But I also sort of forgot that on some boards this air cooler blocks the top PCI Express slots. So I had to go bottom PCI Express slot for the display card. I'm using a PCI riser so for the postcode. So like ultimate jankiness. Yeah, so that explains the board choice. In terms of ICs, some chips don't, some IMCs don't like hypers. So even though this is clearly hyper territory, as you can see in tag score, you know, 66 whatever 2200, that's hypers. I'm using PSC because I was actually mid bin. Like I'm still binning. I still have 2 unbin chips. I had 4 total chips, 1 absolute potato and this one which looks quite good. So I haven't bothered to change the RAM yet. I may still do that because it might hold me back. But yeah, it's basically, oh, the other thing with this board is, and Shar ran across this as well. So just to give people a head start on this board, some copies of this board, for whatever reason, when you apply VCore in BIOS, throw a 0, they just hang on A0, or they like boot loop. So I have a profile set up which is pretty decent. All the energy saving and all that crap turned off, but and QPI voltage set, which is important, an important minor voltage on this platform. So VTT QPI, but I can set VCore in BIOS, which doesn't really hold me back because I'm not booting insanely high settings or anything. But so that's why I would ordinarily probably even just go straight to set FSB, because all I'm really manipulating in OS is FSB. But because I can't set VCore, I do after every boot have to, which I don't know, it's bugging out high here. I don't like it should be set to vid, which is lower than 1.5 obviously. So yeah, so I need to set that, so I may as well do frequency there as well. Oh, with the multis, so on this SKU the like non-turbo multi is 27. In theory you should be able to disable the core and then force the single core top multi of 29, which, you know, exists on this slider, or well, it doesn't now because I've turbo disabled. But in certain situations, let's say it's stock, at cleared CMOS, you would have a slider for 28 and 29 here. But the problem there is it's only a single core turbo, so it's kind of inconsistent trying to apply it, or at least in my case it's been. And then the other issue is setting it in OS I don't think works. I think it asks you for a reboot anyway. So yeah, having said all that, let's shove some old scores away. So this is my top score. So the core is very good, obviously. People's scores that I've seen on the bot don't go as high on QPI, which this is 48x. Hey Vinster, welcome to the stream. Or is it 24? I thought it was 48. I think in BIOS, this calls itself 48x, which I'm not really understanding, because that would mean it's a multi that runs off of half of B clock, if I'm getting my math right, which is a bit odd, but okay. Frequency, okay, obviously 999 is just total bullshit on PSC, but and then 3.4 on core, which is probably what you kind of want to almost try and push on its own in a way, like keep lowering the core and memory multi such that you're not limiting on core artificially. That's probably what I want to do next. But 189, let's try 190. 10 is a big jump, but this is a Alright, before I set final clocks, I should probably start my bench, which I know affinity and priority you can set via batch file or whatever. I don't care, I'm old school. I like doing this manually. Do I like it, or is it just a habit? Who knows anymore? Okay, let's go one more. So 190 is set, so that's 30 more. So Tag's best chip did 5.1 through on air, so this is apparently quite a good chip. So what was our best score? We had 17.56, so now it's a 17.47. I just keep doing 1 B clock steps, and then when we get a fail, I'll go into bias and start messing around a little bit. I don't feel like this is going to be a long stream. I don't know. It is Friday night. But we'll see. We'll see like how... I mean, I feel like there's a lot of tuning left here, but if I hit some sort of crazy dead end... come on. There we go. What was that? 17.47. Yeah. So anyone watching the Olympics? Aussies have been doing well. Not that I give a shit. Not that I care. Not that I necessarily care. Set FSB. Yeah, Friday morning UK time. And even earlier Friday morning US time for tech tested. Yeah, let's do full B clock steps. So these little ticks on set FSB are 1/25th of a B clock. 191. It's kind of getting up there. So this is now basically another 30 megahertz, well 27 to be exact. Okay, so now we have a fail. We have an InOS fail. So let's lower some stuff. Now it's going to be even more cringeworthy for some people is that I have stock VDM slash. I should probably change that. It'd be funny to be getting like RAM failures because of that. Any Kraftwerk fans around? I know that's a little bit of an older band, but I was just listening to them setting up my cameras. It was fun. Okay, so you see this? Like, so auto is top multi, and it's giving me 8.4, which is 8.4 effective. It's showing 4.2 in OS. Oh, it's the effective multi, but then CPU Z shows half of that. Okay, mystery solved. I think I don't want to drop it a crazy amount, but let's drop it 8x. So now you'll see like the post codes on this board are a bit weird. So it likes to show a lot of 0 in like the middle of the post process. Like this is the second time it's showing 0 0. You see that? Okay, are we there? Still loading up. Let's give that a save. I love the fact that these old blue biases have F11 and F12 save. and load. Okay, so QPI is dropped. Now maybe DRAM voltage, setting that is also something that that should be enough. Makes issues for let's see. No, okay, that's fine. So let's definitely bake in that DRAM voltage. We don't want that holding us back. And then let's also try to post 5 higher B clock. So that seems good. I just want to go back into this little CPU menu. Wasn't it under here somewhere? Yeah. Turbo boost off, that's clear. That's only single core turbo. Core enabling is just 1 or 2. Obviously 2 at this point because I want to shove the PyFast onto the second core. This is hyper threading. It's a little bit misnamed. And then just all the energy saving features. So I don't see a Encore multi. And here, just to double, like to really drive the point home, this is the top mem strap, which is crazy. Let's give it a slight bump in PCI Express. That can never hurt, even though I'm really low. Like 200 is supposed to be like auto posting territory. It doesn't like that setting either. Okay. Power cycle time. Okay. Well, we'll have to get around without it. That's fine. Where's our here's the room cam again. More of a little artistic view of the room in a way. I love these old splashes. Bring back these old splashes. I reckon, you know what? Not that anyone would ever ask me, but I feel like this is a great idea for, so we're at 40, I think a retro motherboard would sell like hotcakes. Like strip down the I/O and use like an old-fashioned PCB color that no one uses anymore, like a green, like an epox green, or a purple, and bring back the old splash screen. I think that if that was announced as like a limited 10,000 board edition, that would sell out on day one. Fucking book it. I have no doubt about it. Okay. Let's see. So we boot 5 higher B clock. No hang on A1, so that's good. Double cycle through A1 and 00 I think is normal. Triple cycle even. But then once you see 25, 26, you're on your way. I mean, sometimes you get a hang at like 4D or some weird shit like that, but it's rare. And then 97, 94 FF, that's just booting Windows. Which, this weird, I'm never all that clear on this weird screen blanking that happens before you boot into Windows. Is it capture card related? Is it Windows related? Okay, let's not forget to. I should run off a valid for the dog pile. As pathetic as it would be to sub 200, but you know. Okay, so we've got our voltage set. Our QPI is nicely dropped down a little bit. Still pushing the on-core. Hopefully not so much that it holds back our core, but let's see. So we've got our 47 here, and this is just a dupe of the 47, so let's delete that and shove this away. It was a 190, so we're striving for 191 now. Nice work on the AM1 valid Vinster. I like your style. All right, 91. We were able to set last time. It was just an in-run fail. So no, you know, no guarantees yet, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. I always like to hold here. I feel like even on Okay. Are we starting to get into the territory of an encore fail? It's certainly not a QPI fail at this point. I think QPI is also what you push for encore, right? I should, because I already know that this chip is really good. I should back away from my binning voltages, which is 1.4 VEEC or 1.3 VEEC QPI, and just push them both. So let's set 1.5 real, and let's set 3.5. Let's be stingy on the QPI. Sometimes PyFast bugs itself as well. Sometimes it's worth to just shove across a new copy of it. It's rare. It's not like other benches. So you've got two AM1Is. I think okay, let's try this run. That helped. Okay, while that's running, I'm going to attempt to extract my AM1 boards from my overclocking closet. That passed, but wasn't any faster. That's interesting. Is this the board you're talking about? I never know how to point it. Okay, Windows 8.1 ready. I think that's it, because there's an MATX version as well. Oh, you do have the MATX version, because the AM1, the M stands for MATX, whereas I have the AM1I. I don't know if it's any different though. It might literally be the same board, just on a smaller or bigger PCB. I mean, a lot of the top results on HarborBot are on the ITX board, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Let me try to hold these up such that you can see. One's even cold insulated. I tried to run single stage memory on it very unsuccessfully. So this is a board where you'll be in trouble because you have just PCIe. So no way to get postcode out of this as far as I'm aware. Beautiful board. I mean, a very painful platform to run by all accounts, but it was I think it was subject to a 5G low clock challenge 32M country cup stage at some point, you know, far in the past. And it's kind of well known that the only ones with clock, so the multi is locked and it's not typical to have a clock gen. So Does Northbridge volts do anything as the I doesn't have it in BIOS, but the M does? Northbridge volts. Depends on how the APU is designed. On some APU platforms, the Northbridge volts double as the iGPU volts, so then obviously you need it to push iGPU clocks. But if you have the iGPU clock separated out, then Northbridge may not do anything useful at all. Okay, so I lost 1 B clock of efficiency there because I'm rerunning and I'm still not getting a faster score, but that's fine. Let's just go higher. Easy. As we say in Australia, we're not here to fuck spiders. It's the saying. You know, we're here to do something real and meaningful, not to fuck spiders. Let's try 192. Boom. It's getting up there. I mean, I do push Northbridge volts on even on platforms that have separated out iGPU voltage, but it's just sort of like a habitual thing. I don't really know if it does anything. Okay, so at 1.5, 1.35, dropped QPI multi. At 192 BCLK, we get 1742. Sorry, I'm just taking some notes. And actually, there are not that many subs on this chip. It must have been expensive at the time or something. So this is my previously sub score. Then we had a 1746, which didn't do anything. But now the 1742 is interesting because it makes this the top ambient score. I know there's not a lot of scores here. Let's make sure it's... See, there's only 18 scores, but it's still fun to be the top ambient score. Now, a whole other second to start to challenge the low single stage scores. That would be interesting, but that's probably not where we're going to end up tonight. You know, I'm an optimist, but even my optimism has its limits. Let me tell you guys, it's been a long week at work. I'm not saying that I'm necessarily like mentally tired now and finding it hard to stream. I'm actually kind of pumped, but I'm just sort of, I'm trying to forget it. I mean, I finished my shift 4 hours ago, so I've done a few things, recreational things in between to distance myself. Even though it was a work from home day, I've done a few things to distance myself appropriately from the work week, but it was a long one. I mean, it wasn't long in terms of hours, but it felt long because it was intense. Okay, so that's valid. Cool. Someone said something on yeah, Northbridge Falls, and you just have to be aware of the different naming of the voltages, like on FM2. Yeah, you just have to. So on some platforms, it's almost like you're not entirely sure which voltage is the iGPU volt, and you kind of like they're not really labeled iGPU, or they may even be mislabeled. I think there was one board I came across where the voltage labeled iGPU voltage was not the iGPU voltage, and then the Northbridge voltage was iGPU. Like, it was just so dumb. So the best thing to do is just like find your limits with all voltages totally flat stock. Like, you're just find a bench to loop and see what iGPU frequency you can do through that bench, and then just test the two voltages that are in question against each other to see if they're scaling. Because no matter what your cooling method, there should always be, I mean, even the latest, even the AM5, I mean, AM5 is maybe a bad example, but let's say the latest AM4 APUs, like the 5700G, even on this like really new process that isn't as voltage tolerant and stuff, even on that, you should still be able to distinguish the correct IGPU voltage by simple scaling tests on air. Okay. I'm doing this, and I'm killing Explorer, and I'm going 93. So that's, we've passed 5-2 now. Sweet. Hey, I was about to say hello to a bot, which would have been a waste of my breath, but I caught them. Seven. We got a spammer. 1731. I feel like, okay, what I'll do is I'll note down the results for my notes, but I won't like save every single score because it is a bit labor intensive, and it is a Friday night. I want this to be a chill stream. Okay, set FSB, kill Explorer. Get, set. Okay, PLL byte error, that's usually not a good omen, but we'll try and get a run out. Yeah, 3.5 encore seems decent. Oh, you know what movie I watched the other day? The Postman. Kevin Costner, my man. In a post-apocalyptic future, is a postman. It's much better than it sounds, but it's not great actually. It's not great. Not his finest work. Which, you know, that's a really interesting question. As it stands now, what is Kevin Costner's best movie? And then, you know, you can get into discussion of, are we talking the best movie in which Kevin Costner acts? Or are we saying, what is the best performance of Kevin Costner's life? And then the name of the movie associated. Because those two answers could be very different. I mean, I wouldn't absolutely hate, you know, as much as it was panned when it came out, if someone said Waterworld is Kevin Costner's best movie, I'd find it hard to argue with them. Is it his best performance? Now that's a totally different thing. I don't think it's his best performance. But is it the best movie in which he starred? And then the really interesting thing is too, he's a director as well. So you could give three answers. The best directing performance by Kevin Costner, the best acting performance by Kevin Costner, and then, I mean, I think he acts in every movie he directs, so it's the same, but the best movie in which he either acted or directed. I think I'm right in saying he's never directed a movie without starring, which is kind of an interesting thing too, right? Like, if you compare that to Clint Eastwood, he certainly starred in a lot of movies that he directed, but he doesn't like force himself into the movie, you know? Like, I'm not accusing Kevin Costner of doing that, but I just, I guess he picks his scripts in such a way that there is always a role there for him. Whereas like um, Clint Eastwood, I mean, he was like in Gran Torino. He's been in a lot of his movies, but he wasn't in, I don't think, in Letters from Iwo Jima, for example, and he directed that. And Flags, that was like a not a trilogy, but a duology. Like it was like Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima. And I don't believe he was in either. It's been a long time since I watched them. We're gonna have to have an IMDb like deep dive in a second, but just going off of my memory now, I don't know if he was in Roger Rabbit. Maybe it's I haven't watched that movie in a long time. Okay, so what's next? Booting 5 higher is next. Although that's getting quite dangerous because I'm still at stock VCore. But okay, we'll try. Okay, I'm opening the page. I can't resist. That is a post, as far as I can tell. Alright, let's first go with the directed movies. Dances with Wolves he was in, Postman he was in, Open Range he was in, even though I haven't watched that, and Horizon he's in. Okay, so he's only directed 6, so that's fair. It's like maybe he'll eventually direct one he's not in. What about acting? This is gonna be quite the, like I said, deep dive. Oh, Bodyguard, I forgot about that. Malibu Hot Summer 2.7. That's bad. Okay. Right. Okay. So we've booted higher. Our last score was 194. So now let's try 195. Let's not forget to set our volts. He's not in WK or Who Killed Roger Rabbit. Okay, fair. So I went 1.35 here and I went 1.5 here. And now we go 195. Let's queue up our bench. Hey, Kick. How are you doing today? So we had a mid-run fail, right? Which actually sort of speaks against. Well, we'll see. Let's just blast it and see what happens. Okay, we're starting to hit the real limit. Interesting time to join the stream. Yeah, pi fast is very platform dependent. Sometimes minimize is actually fastest. Sometimes maximized. It's certainly something worth tweaking. Okay, I don't think this raising of B clock is as much is the magic that it sort of was at previous clocks. But we can certainly try 5 higher. Alright, back to the important bit. Okay, I don't know any of this stuff. The Big Chill. Oh, he was in The Big Chill. Fandango. Is that a Western? Oh, it's a road trip movie. And it's over 6.5 rating. I feel like I should put that on my list of stuff I want to watch. Silverado. That was the Western. I was mixing up Silverado and Fandango. There we go. Kevin Kline. Yeah. Nominated for 2 Oscars. Wild. American Flyers. The hell's that? It's about an aneurysm, basically. Okay. Different. TV series, TV movie. Untouchables. Wow, he didn't. I feel like The Untouchables is actually the best. Well, it's tricky though. But I'm a huge Brian De Palma fan, so yeah, I sort of feel like The Untouchables has got to be in the conversation of the best movie he is in. Don't exactly know how good his performance is in that offhand. Okay, it's starting to do wonky things. Yeah, 7.8 on IMDb. What more do you want to know? TV movie, No Way Out. Bull Durham, I think, is a it is a baseball movie. Ooh, Gene Hackman. I don't know about any of these bloody movies. I gotta really buff up my my watch list. Field of Dreams is also a baseball movie, right? 2 baseball movies in a row. He must really love baseball. Yeah, I'm not misremembering that. And then Chasing Dreams is some sort of weird sequel. He made 3 baseball movies in a row between 1988 and 89. Okay. What the fuck is this? He's been in some terrible movies. What's The Gunrunner? What the fuck? Okay. Okay, let's try higher VCore for this single threaded bench. Seems reasonable. Ooh, it won't let me set that anymore. Which is odd. I guess I'm going back down those 5B clock. That suddenly made everything unstable. Okay. Back to the Kevin Costner Revenge. Ooh, JFK, such a good movie. Oh my god. Oof. And 13 Days isn't half bad either. So it's gotta be JFK, doesn't it? But I don't remember what his performance is like. This is a mammoth of a movie to watch. 3 hours and 9 minutes, and I think there's a director's cut as well that's longer. IMDb is usually pretty good at about giving information about longer cuts. So I think it's under release details usually. Maybe not. Or was it technical? I think maybe it's technical details. Yeah, it should give the other runtime. There we go. Yeah, 3 hours and 26, the director's cut. Okay, this was a straight reboot, so we're still at 190, so I need to re-drop down to 185. And remember to hit delete button. Yeah, it could be, but well, it's not the best movie he's directed. You know, I've never watched Dances with Wolves. There's like a 4-hour cut of it. I've seen bits of it on TV like back in the day, you know. So I really so here we go. So it came out in 1990. It would have been on network TV in like 92. So like this is like when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. Um, so there's a longer cut. So the theatrical cut is 3 hours and one, but there's a much longer cut. There's a much longer cut. I'm pretty certain of it. Yeah, 3 hours and 56. Like that's daunting, you know. That's not. I actually love long movies. I'm not one of these people who specifically avoids movies because of their runtime. I almost feel like, I mean, nowadays it's fucked because movies are shot on digital. A lot of like superhero movies are 2 hours and 2.5 hours long now. But it used to be the case that a 2.5 hour movie was almost guaranteed to be better than a 1.5 hour movie. Um, so yeah, I don't shy away from them, but it doesn't change the fact that you still have got to find that chunk of time in your life to do that, you know. And I've heard varying things about the different cuts as well, like that, you know, theatrical cut is better, the director's cut is better. Film length 5 kilometers. Okay, so let's see if we can set V-core without a crash. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't think I was tired, but there you go. Okay, weird. So low B clock fixes V-core setting issue. Someone tried to explain that to me, but I don't think you'll be very successful doing that. Ooh, save over that. And now, because I don't want the annoying pop-up, I'm switching to set FSB to get to set my FSB. So, Kick, why did you say it was a weird time to join the stream? Were we just in the middle of the Kevin Costner discussion or something, and you were lost because you're like, "What the fuck is this, an overclocking stream or what?" Can't blame you if that's the case. Okay, what are we trying to pass again? It's 194 still, isn't it? Okay, the reason we're talking about Kevin Costner is, well, in the back of my mind, which I haven't mentioned on the stream yet, in the back of my mind, he's in my mind because he just released this epic first part of a 4-part western called Horizon, uh, Part One, and it's unfortunately, proving to be. Oh, we're trying to do 195 actually. It's proving to be a financial failure, which is a big. It's sad because I think it's important to keep theatrical releases alive. Streaming is shit. Long live the cinema, even though they're kind of killing themselves. They're kind of eating their own tail, you know? It's like, oh, we're not making as much money as we used to. Let's throw in more ads and raise the prices of our popcorn. That will definitely get people out in hordes. Uh, but yeah, in general, cinemas are amazing. I hope they last forever. Um, so that was one reason, but the other reason is because I recently watched The Postman, which is another 3 hour movie that he wrote, directed, and starred in. Blame Netflix. Yeah, I guess that's one way to summarize it. Yeah, we're trying to do that 195. Oh, overshot it. And we've passed 3.5 for Encore. Okay, this actually does look like a hard limit. I mean, I can try going way higher on Biko and see if that does anything. Until share price is dropping? Is that because people now finally kind of realize how big this CPU degradation thing is. Oh, or because of the layoffs, but it's interesting though, right? Like generically, the response of the markets to a mass layoff in an otherwise healthy company is actually a share price increase, because it's usually seen as a sign of management having their shit together and knowing the you know knowing and being willing to take the hard decisions. But occasionally layoffs lead to share price drops, which seems to be the case here, because the investors kind of see it as, oh, we've seen it all before, you've already done layoffs and they didn't do what they were promised to do, so now the layoffs are just a sign of cost cutting and running out of other options, and that's obviously a bad thing. So yeah, I mean, look, I know, make no secret out of the fact that I run all my dailies are AMD, my laptop is AMD. I just, ever since the launch of Ryzen, I've never seen value at all in pretty much anything that Intel has sold. And right now, I mean, especially on mobile, it's just horrendous. You get a so-called i7 and it's like 4 P cores, and then a bunch of E cores that are just shit. A Ryzen 7 these days, like I think depending on the TDP, because there's obviously lots of different ranges of TDP on mobile. Depending on the TDP, I think I'm right in saying that you can even get like a 12 Regal core Ryzen 7. How's a 4 P core chip supposed to compete with that? So mobile is dire. Server is arguably even more dire of a situation than mobile. And then desktop is the closest of the three, but I mean, you've got value all the way from like an AM4 6 core all the way up to 9950X and Threadripper Pro if you really need it. Like, there's not a single part of the market where, oh, I'm sure someone can come up with, oh, well, if I want to spend exactly $67.95 for a CPU, Intel is actually the better value. But in general, if you just break it down into like low end, mid range, high end, and ultra high end, all 4 parts, AMD just wins. Like, there's absolutely no discussion. And that's before these weird fucking degradation issues. You know, now they win it by even more. You know, you could almost sort of argue now that Intel's best market segment is mobile, believe it or not, even though they're competing with 4 cores against 12 cores. It's just fucking bizarre. I mean, it's man-made. They had so much hubris. They got stuck on 14 nanometer and kind of thought they could get away with remaining stuck for a long time. It didn't seem to be a focus. It doesn't seem to me like they like put the resources into fixing that major issue of losing on process technology. Process technology in in bleeding edge semiconductor manufacturing. Process technology is everything. You can't just be 2 or 3 nodes behind and expect to compete. It just doesn't make any sense. Yet they sort of semi or fully willingly let themselves fall behind in process technology. It just boggles the mind. It really does. I don't see. I mean, it's kind of the it's the Boeing effect. It's the Nvidia effect, right? If I think from what I've heard about how people at Nvidia act towards other people in the industry and just how their marketing works and everything, if Nvidia were not the market leader, if they had legitimate competition and actually fell to a second spot for a while, they'd be so fucked because they have all this hubris and all this ego. And it's kind of like that with Intel, except Intel is second. So they really are fucked. Whereas you can kind of get away with having all that hubris and ego and narrow-mindedness and we are the best and how dare you tell us anything. You can kind of get away with that if you actually are first. So your attitude actually sort of makes some sort of sense. But as soon as you fall to second, you're fucked. You're totally fucked. And I mean, obviously it's a difference because let's not mince any words whatsoever. Boeing killed hundreds of people with their incompetence. There's obviously a difference between that and your daily rig not working because of some incompetence on Intel's side. There's clearly a massive rift there. There's the biggest of rifts possible there. But I'm just saying that the attitude and the trajectory of Boeing and Intel, I feel, are similar because they're both in a duopoly, and they both thought they were the hottest shit ever, and they both made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. Maybe not entirely due to that, but it was a major contributing factor. Was their attitude and their unwillingness to sort of own up to the fact that they're kind of shit and have to improve. And like Boeing at least is in the position of getting orders because Airbus's order book is too full, and you can't, like, airplane manufacturing is insanely complex and there's a massive supply chain involved. So the even if you wanted to produce twice as many planes per month, that decision has to be made very, very carefully and has to have years of lead time. So when airlines want to expand aggressively, they kind of have to go with Boeing by default because that's the only place you can get an airplane this decade. Intel is a little bit different. I'm not insinuating that AMD's manufacturing capacity is infinite either, but it's much closer to infinite than Airbus's is. So you can see a much more if companies and customers cotton on and are willing to make the jump, you can see a much more precipitous fall in Intel sales much quicker than Boeing. I mean, people are kind of stuck with Boeing. Like, they literally killed hundreds of people, and airlines still got to order the planes. Still need a plane in 2 years' time. We don't really care what you did or what mistakes you made. Give us that plane so we can fill it and make money with it. I mean, I'm not blaming them, right? Just to be totally clear about that, I think that, you know, that's kind of the sort of tough or semi-tough business decision you have to make. Link device. Sorry, I just got to do one thing. Okay. Okay, back to the, okay, so I think we're sort of hitting a hard limit here. We're no longer seeing any real sort of voltage scaling, which is fine. That's kind of like expected. Let's gently and lightly tune the RAM. Where's that? So enabling XMP caused boot failure, so I'm going to do it without XMP, which is fine. This is DDR3. I'm pretty comfortable. So expert allows you to set separate timings for both channels. That's totally hardcore. I don't know why Gigabyte ever put that option in. I'm sure there was a use for it, but it's pretty hardcore. I'll just do this. Let's do like Can I type? Yeah. 7, 10, 7. No, this low is 6. Let's go 6, 10, 6. 6, 9, 6 should work as well. 6, 10, 6. 28. I said this would be easy, but maybe not. Command 1. Ooh, this is command rate 3. Fancy shit. Or 16 fall should be good. Okay, maybe I need to brush up on my PSC skills, but okay. Alright, let's do that. Let's do this, and then performance enhance. I'm reluctant to do extreme. That sounds extreme. Okay, so what else can we do? Oh, what we can do is we can drop one multi here and try to push Encore and RAM a little bit more, just a little bit more. I don't think we'll, 2 multis is probably too much. That will start running into Encore and RAM issues, but I think one multi might be good. Okay, let's catch up. Yeah, I knew about the layoff. I mean, dividends are usually pretty small anyway, so yeah, but down 40%. But I mean, they've not. I mean, nothing good has happened to them in 2024, so of course it's down 40. So what I was just doing on my laptop was, there's so much wrong with my phone. This is a less than 1-year-old phone, by the way. So, what's the first thing that happened? Let's see. The first thing that happened is I smashed my screen. See that? But it's still usable. So that's fine. But it's something you need to get used to. So a screen smashed. Next thing that happened was headphone socket no longer like captures the headphone. It doesn't like click in. So it doesn't. I think there's way like there's an app you can get that can force headphone output, but I decided to just get a USB-C DAC. Yeah, so one of the main selling, like, first of all, it's an amazing size, the Zenfone 10. And I'm not a Zeus sponsor or anything, like quite the opposite, but it's like a 5.9 inch screen is amazing. That's the size of your hand. That's the size every screen should be. So small screen size, headphone jack, which is now unfortunately broken. I might get it fixed, which is amazing because I don't see the point of fucking up your charging port with your headphones. Like, I put in my headphones like 4 times a day every day. Like, that's, after 3 years it's like 1,000 insertions. I don't want to put that kind of wear and tear on a USB-C port. I've had USB-C ports die on laptops just from using docks. I don't want the same experience here, because once you can't charge a phone anymore, it's pretty much fucked. It'll just run out of battery and never work again, unless you get a fix, of course. So yeah, broken screen, broken headphone jack. Then the cover, even though it obviously doesn't have a user replaceable battery, back cover kind of lifts off because this time I've dropped it on concrete and smashed the screen, and also the back cover kind of lifted off. Then it's got these 2 bulbous cameras on the back, and the top one I smashed that, and I don't even remember doing it. I just remember feeling my camera and being like, that wasn't there before, but it still takes good pictures, so it's all good. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 things wrong with it. And now, just to top it all off, yesterday morning I turned on my phone and it said no SIM detected. I'm like, I haven't done anything. The socket isn't popped out or anything. What's going on here? I was like, oh, maybe it just needs a reseat. I reseat the pin, the SIM, still wouldn't detect it. Then I put circuit cleaner spray into the socket. I stood the phone up like that and left it turned off for like 6 hours. Put the SIM back in, still wouldn't detect the SIM. Now I'm like, fuck, this is a real concern. In the meantime, and you know how it is with phones, it takes a lot to move phones. Like it's not just put the SIM card in and all your text messages are on there. And that's all you need. You need your WhatsApp chats. You need your whatever, all the sign-ins and everything. So I resurrected an old Motorola I had, put the SIM card in there, and for a couple of days, or 1 or 2 days at least, I would still carry this phone around for my podcasts and everything, and Wi-Fi connected to my phone with the 5G SIM card in it. And I'm like, oh, this is dumb. Let's try. What's the last thing I could try? And out of total desperation, what I did is I did a full backup of the phone, which the Zeus actually has a utility on it to let you back it up onto a USB-C SSD drive, which is really nice because the cloud backups always take forever because you're going there and coming back. So that was really nice. And I did a full factory reset, and lo and behold, I don't know how this is. I don't think there is, like, is there really a setting on a phone that makes it not recognize a SIM card? It seems like the sort of thing that you shouldn't be able to set. And it's not rooted or in a developer mode or anything. But lo and behold, I didn't think it would work. I thought I would factory reset it and then just have to give up on it, like get it repaired or throw it out or get a new one or whatever. It recognizes, and the bizarre thing is it's a dual SIM phone, so I even tried both slots and both slots were not recognizing it, which kind of actually points towards a software issue, because if you had a hardware issue it would probably affect one of the slots first at least. So yeah, a couple of hours I got this thing back working again, but the one thing that takes forever is restoring my WhatsApp chats. Can you see that? No, not really. Is that okay? I don't want to give away the names of all my chats and things, but because WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted, you can't like keep the chats on the well, you do to keep the chats on the phone, but if you're moving phones, you kind of have to upload it to the cloud encrypted and then download it again and decrypt it again, and then reinstate all the media and everything into all the chats, and that takes a long time. So it's now, after hours, is at 59%. But at the end, it gives you like a summary screen. And I did this on the other phone, when I was expecting this phone not to come back from the dead. So now I'm doing this second time in 3 days. But what I found just wild is when the restore finished on the other phone, it pops up, we've restored 600,000 messages. I use WhatsApp a lot, guys. 600 fucking thousand messages. That's not even a complete backup. I started using WhatsApp in 2011. I feel like the backup feature came in later, so that would mean this is only like Australian backups. So I send and receive like 80,000 messages a year or something. Yeah, a lot of subs are over 200 beat clock. Yeah, I was aware of that. I'm just doing step by step, you know. This is far from a final score. Boom. Boom. Switch to set FSB. So now we'll have to do quite a lot of FSBing. Oh, it's like a hard limit. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to yeet it up to like 200. Let me give it a reset. Yeah, let's yeet it up to 200 in bias. Well, let's do 5 B clock steps. Okay, save that. And we probably want to go 1 multi-lower here. And then another 5. Another 5 and boot, actually, if that boots. I might just take a short break. Am I having another beer? Probably not. It's looking like it's posting, so I'll be right back. We have a boot failure. Okay, I can give it a little bit more QPI if it's more beer equals more B clock. I think that's flawless logic. Okay. Yeah, let's start with a bit more QPI. But if we need to add vCore, that's need like a hard mod or something. I've never kind of like considered the fact that, oh, that's a hang on C3. Why is it suddenly cold? Okay, let me get a hoodie. I shouldn't be surprised really. The forecast overnight temperature is something like 2 degrees and it's now almost 9 p.m. You always hope that in a small room with 3 rigs and 1 video light running that's enough heat output to keep you at sane temperatures, but apparently not. Okay, let's load up our profile. Let's go in here. Okay, let's drop the RAM a bit. Well, what I'll do is I'll drop the RAM and I'll also do 7, 10, 7, and then try that, because it's just a proof of concept. I basically kind of want to independently push Encore. I'm dropping CPU multi, I'm dropping RAM multi, I'm dropping QPI. I just want to see what's the absolute top encore I can get with, like, you know, QPI set to something reasonable. Because I mean, the other thing is, if I'm seeing some sort of weird B clock limit, that's not good, because I'm gonna need even more of this on code, because I don't have any, you know, on a modern platform you just like set all the other multis and the B clock to what you're happy with, like tune in up the RAM, and then on code you literally just increase the multi. But here you don't have that luxury, so now lower this as well, and now try 195. Above 20. Yeah, I do want to swap. That sounds very pleasant. Okay, I think we've dropped enough stuff now. Show me that bias screen. Okay, give that a save. So that's 195 posting. All right, let's try and post the flat 200. Ooh, even though that QPI is starting to look high, let's post the 200, then drop the multi if the post is successful. Come on, let's do it. I want 200. Give me 200. Shoot it up into my veins. Yeah, that's a post. Okay, so that's a 200. I'm actually happy to go into OS with that. I just want lower QPI. There you go. Talking about WhatsApp messages, I have 61 new messages since I re-linked my laptop to my phone. Ah, it's fun. Let's boot her up. That's how you always can tell that it's a Parika OS, because it's got that weird WL notify.dll. Okay. What I'm first gonna do is I'm actually gonna grab a valid because I'm a sicko. 2.08 should still validate, right? Boom. We need to double check that XOC mode is set. It is, because it's set to read only. So we want to grab a screeny. And a valid. F7 is the magic shortcut for that. Okay, now let's see how horrendously low or other multis are now. Okay, 3.6 on, obviously, because there is no dropping that multi. 800 RAM is actually still decent. Whoa, we're at 5.2 already. Okay, probably need to run off a run. Yeah, it seems weird. The voltage seems to be just auto setting whatever. Oh, okay. I should have set the V core before I started pumping the V clock. Okay, yeah. All right, let's be methodical about this shit. Let's apply our vCore. And oh, it's doing that weird thing again. His board is really crying out for a old mod. Maybe I need to try the other board. That's probably a smart way to do it anyway. So the revision 1.3 is supposedly not as good. I should probably cold mod that board and check if it applies vCore from BIOS, and then just use that as like an everyday benching board. And then if I really do find an amazing chip, run it on the Rev 1.0. That's probably the way. Ooh, I should. So much stuff going on. How's that restore going? Probably still gigabytes away. 64%. Okay. Okay, let's actually go 2024 multi and remove any doubt about core and just do some like 5.5.0 and 5.1 runs. Tiredness just hits you, but it's not surprising. I'm awake since like 5:30 this morning. Okay. Yeah, no volts. No volts for now. Just pumping that encore and B clock. Yeah, basically one reference runs for certain mem and encore settings, not all out runs to actually put on the rankings. Okay, here's a 210. 3.8 encore. And the memory is starting to look respectable again. Oh, what's the GUI's running or something? Why is there... Oh, yeah. I feel like I haven't seen a run complete in about an hour. But that's probably an exaggeration. Find highest B clock first, but I mean, it's such a lost art though, right? Like, This is not really like my typical sort of platform. And I'll save a 210 valid as well because, you know, I can even use the same screenshot. Let's get that valid out. No. I'll do a 215 because, you know, things are getting closer. Ugh. So now the question becomes: was that an encore failure, or was it a core failure? I think I'm going to go one multi lower even. And the beauty about these kind of profiles will be, if I can lock this in, then I can just go cold and get the extra 2 or 3 multi out. Okay, let's go 23. Maybe even drop this a little bit more, and then 25, 205. Looks like a boot. I don't think 4G Encore on ambient is ever really a thing though, like except for the absolute most unicorn of chips. So I do have to consider that eventually I'll just run out of Encore no matter what QPI I'm at. QPI volts, I mean, not QPI frequency. Why am I opening Easy Tune? That's pointless. Okay, just because I'm curious. What's everyone's favorite alcoholic drink? I don't know. I just told over this for some reason. For some reason, I'm in terms of spirit. Okay, I mean, I think no one can really never say no one, but I think a lot of people aren't whiskey drinkers because medium to low cost whiskeys can be quite disgusting. Let's face it. But I think no one would really say no to a good whiskey, like a proper, like, good whiskey. But I can't really call myself a whiskey drinker because that's not what I drink on a normal occasion, let's say. So my spirit of choice that I do actually drink and like to drink is rum, white rum, not spiced rum or dark rum, rum and coke. Can't go wrong with that. Cuba Libre, you know, we all want a free Cuba, so we drink Cuba Libres to make that happen. And then obviously in terms of non-spirit stuff like brewed stuff, it's weird how there's a name for spirits, but there's not really a name for non-spirits. Like, what would you call that? Like, there's even 2 names for spirits. Like in British English you call them spirits, in American English you call them liquor. You call it liquor. But what's non-liquor called? Non-spirits. Okay, you can call it beer and wine, but that's not really including everything because there's beer, wine, cider, You know, there's a few things that are non-distilled, you know, that are kind of brewed or made in some other way and have a lower alcohol content than spirits, but there's not really a term for that. To the best of my knowledge, at least, there's no term for it. Okay, 333. So okay, 215, 39. I mean, let's give it a run. Just to check stability. Cheeky Vimtos. What's a Vimto? Is that some sort of mixed drink? I've not heard of that. You'll have to explain that, please. You don't drink. Yeah, it's good. I mean, drinking isn't really, in spite of what people say about, oh, glass of red wine, antioxidants, stops heart disease and all that bullshit. It's not like in general, at large, like big picture, drinking's not good for you. So totally cool not to be a drinker. Okay, let's go back. No, that's not what I want. Can we do 220? Just 3 more ticks. 220. Gonna have to valid that as well. Almost 4G on core. Nice. Port and blue wicked. Whoa. Ooh. Now we're talking. That's quite the combo there. Never heard of that before. Cool. Where's our 220? Oh, I validated 220, but I didn't screenshot 220. I didn't even valid 220. I thought I hit the button for that. Okay, so here's your 220. Now we need to make sure we screenshot. Okay, I need to go like 5 megahertz steps or even smaller. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can hit exactly 4 on core. Just for shits and giggles. Licorice, blackcurrant, and rather sweet. I mean, anything with wicked in it certainly has that quality. Okay, 220 is done. Get FSB. Open this shit up. Yeah, let's watch the encore. Watch it tick up. Can we get there? It's close. I don't think we're getting there. Maybe. One more tick. There it is, 4G encore on ambient. I can retire now. This is obscene. See, now the question immediately becomes, if you have a good enough IMC, could you get the higher strap going at this setting? Because the PSC clearly can do it. I mean, maybe not 710, 7 like my 711, 7 maybe. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Will it pass? Okay. I mean, I set for encore. I didn't pass it, but okay, I'm taking the picture of that. It's going straight to tag. Oh no, my camera is giving me hints and stuff because my phone has been factory reset and it thinks I'm like a new user or something. Okay. It's been almost 2 hours. What I'll throw at the end of the stream here is just a casual, like, just beat clocking session. I'll just lower all the multis and go to town. But in terms of PyFast, I'm done. My mind's kind of a bit gone. But I said at the start of the stream it would be on the shorter side. It'll still probably be a 2-hour stream, but you know, I've had some 3-hour streams recently, so yeah, I just wanted to get on this week. I mean, I have a ton of LN2 back here. I have like 60 liters, or sorry, 80 liters, 235s, and whatever's left of the 18. Interesting. Okay, let's. Oh, but you still have to blast QPI, right? Because you can't lower Encore. All right, let's go 12 here. 210 here. Lowest multi here. Like 20 here, or even 18. Drop down to 1 core, and I don't want to degrade, so 1.4 is probably like sane. Gets you proper pissed, I believe. Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. Oh, I said something it didn't like. Like I said something too low. I said a multi too low or something. Alright, just pull 24. The magic solution to everything gigabyte. Come on, bias. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the existing profile and drop stuff one by one. So just drop the CPU multi. Another spammer. Another fucking spammer. Okay. So save that as a B clock profile. Then back in here. Okay, drop QPI to like 24. Maybe you can't drop it all the way. See, now I'm warm again for some reason. Wonder how long that will last though. Okay, bias, save as B clock profile. Maybe it was lowering the RAM LTA, or maybe it was just setting too many settings at once. Older biases are sometimes a bit finicky about that. Save profile. Okay, let's try to set the higher QPI voltage. Maybe it was actually that. Hang on 7F. Oh no, it's already in bias. Interesting. Okay, and now 210. So was it actually the 210, or was it setting all the making all the changes? Weird. Okay, I'm gonna be cheeky and try a 215. That's maybe a bit adventurous, but you know, we're not here to fuck spiders, like I said earlier. Oh, that's like a hard reset. That's not. That's interesting. Looks like a post. Okay. No. Okay. That's a bit too hard. Let's try to just get into OS with 210 and make one attempt at B clock. Okay, 24 pin. Okay, hopefully that profile loads up smoothly at 210. 215 was a bit much, but 210. Double check. Oh, 205 is saved even. Let's do 210. Yeah, earlier when I was doing lower B clock, I was putting in 145 and doing like 175 benchable. So like in theory, if you're not constrained by anything else, which I probably am in this situation, you would expect about 30 B clock on this board in OS combo, it seems like, and chip combo. Okay, so 220 is done. So let's try for a 225, eh? Yeah, I don't want to kill a good chip for the sake of a B clock sub. 220 is gonna have to do. Um, Thanks all for watching. That was actually fun. Learned a lot. Um, Still not an 1156 expert, but getting there. I'll have another. I'm pretty sure I'll have another Team Cup focused stream next week. I have a board coming in for 3000G. That might actually be a very good subject for a stream. Not promising anything, but that's one of the candidates. It'll just depend on what I can get it done in the meantime and a few factors like that. But yeah, I certainly have. Well, there's the 1366 sub as well. There's at least two more 2D big 2D stages. There's the Tricore as well, but I wanted to stay away from that because I've done a lot of AM3 on stream. But so probably between most likely between 1366 and 3000G GPU Pi. 1366 is 32M. An outside chance of me already being onto 3D with the X1000 series 05, but probably not. And before Team Cup is over, I will definitely do a dog pile stream. Book it in. I'll get fucking 50 boards out and see what I can achieve. But yeah, I don't know how well that will go, but I'm making an attempt. All right, thanks guys. Until next time.